Hello Capsuleers! I am CCC Sorp, here with CCP Silla to bring you our new ship, the River. We will also be sharing with you the unusual game design workflow that was used in developing this ship. We hope to provide insight into how CCP is shaking up modern game design. I will be presenting how the ship concept was formed, its role determined, and where it will fit within the New Eden ecosystem. Silla?
Thanks. My name is CCP Silla. I will be briefly addressing the technical nature of the original ship design, from its nascent conceptual birth through to the creative implementation of its unique role attributes. I will be providing properly tuned fitting adjustments and reviewing careful consideration of emergent gameplay implications. Vital numbers and statistics to follow, of course. We obviously can't have a serious Eve discussion without numbers.
So, here we are in 2019. Isn't this exciting? So, we are now presenting our experimental game design flow for new ships. This may also be our way forward for new structures, like citadels, system upgrade structures, and other future ideas for deployable constructs in space. Very exciting. So, first step. We start with the name, yes. Now, we have River, so this is good. Second step, we must define a role. We have done this, yes, you will see. Third step, we complete the concept. Very exciting, yes.
After the ideas are somewhat settled, we proceed with deliberation to confirm a specific class attributes as well as critical role factors. This is often recursive, reflecting back to the nebulous concept ideas and confidently moved forward towards better grounded assignments. Following this exhaustive process, we implement small group discussions with key stakeholders within CCP Games before expanding slightly to include our esteemed colleagues at the CSM. This comprehensive feedback loop is absolutely critical to the development process. Post-recursion, a multidisciplinary collaborative effort begins to draw on CCP's art and sound assets. However, the art and sound discussions and work pipeline have been covered elsewhere.
Okay, now we are at the heart of concept development. It starts off with a wild and crazy idea. Terms like speedballing and freeform thinking get tossed around, but you get the idea. The question we asked was, what does a river in Eve look like? Is it a broad river passing along empty shores? Is it a meandering ribbon passing through space? Is it just an idyllic way to sightsee? Is the transportation link running between two waterfronts? This is what we feel a river in Eve should feel like. Dangerous, fast, risky, powerful. And so we shift to which New Eden race or faction the river we belong to. Here, I think, the answer came to us all equally. Minmatar, cyclone, typhoon, hurricane, tempest, maelstrom. Wet, dynamic, dangerous, untamed nature. The feeling of flying a Minmatar ship has been described as riding an armchair down a staircase with Uzis strapped to the armrests. And so we must test these to compare moving through our whitewater space and riding the stairs. I think this is rather convincing, yes? And so, finally, we need to establish a niche. We believe, most certainly, that we have an opportunity to do something special. When we traveled to Toronto, to Eve North, I read a quick history of the formation of Canada, of North America really, of how explorers use rivers to move westward, to explore the river valleys and set up trading centers for bringing materials in and riches out. Cartier, Frontenac, Champlain in New France, Lewis and Clark in what would be the USA. The use of waterways, especially with canoes, was something that we could build on.
A Great Lakes canoe carried 3 tons of freight, goods north for furs south. The real man staggered under packs which weighed more than he did. But their routes became our roads. and their endurance and pluck, our heritage.
And so, we have completed our concept.
Right, in summary, the river is to be a cargo hauler trading vessel designed to get in and through areas that have difficult geography. The vessel will be Minmatar, the vessel will be a frigate, we are talking a canoe here, and will be Tech 1. The vessel will have a small cargo bay, but a massive specialized hold that can hold trade goods. Think Amarian wheat, livestock, erotic dancers, janitors, fidos, long-limbed roe, going upstream and coming downstream, blue loot and red loot. Additionally, this specialized hold can take fuel blocks. We envision that with maximum skills and a purposeful fitting, a river could haul more than a week's worth of fuel blocks for a typically fit Fortizar through frigate-sized wormholes in a Tech 1 hull. Revealing the ship roles, we have hull resistance bonuses, modifiers to inertial to get the fuck out, bonuses to specialized haulage and to ship max speed, finally, typical hauling reduction for jump fatigue and a bonus for a 5-second cloak reactivation. Please note this vessel is not CovOps enabled. Right, we have here a slot layout, typical, see standard here, no drones and only one turret hardpoint. Right, typical Minmatar frigate ranges here, although the hull HP value is higher than normal. There will be some minor adjustments to the fitting here as we put the final spit and shine on the river. Last pages are stats here, generally typical values for a frigate. Of note is the specialized hold capacity.
So we don't have final art, but we do have a concept. Look at those engines! Definitely Minmatar. So, that is the river. But
as Steve Jobs used to say, one more thing.
So boom! You can't do a mic drop without a microphone taped to your cheek. Otherwise I would. Boom! Tech 2 assault frigate. Ha! So, how do we pump up the river? How do you pump up a canoe? You could put extra paddlers in. You could put a lot of extra paddlers in. But that just makes a canoe a troop transport. Something not useful in New Eden. I think you need to upgrade the paddles to oars and add more. Now you've got more power. Now, galleys use catapults and large crossbows, but they didn't do too much. Galleys were still just methods to deliver troops. Until this upgrade. The ram. Oh, now you've got something. Sira, please do the honors.
Introducing the Heimdall, named after the bright god who guarded the Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge to Asgard. It takes the river concept and brutally expands on it. It is a Minmatar assault frigate, but has been heavily modified with massive changes to its weapon systems and propulsion, at the cost of most of its defenses. A new weapons system, the Hofud. Hofud is the name of the sword of Heimdall. It is what happens when the Minmatar get their hands on an entropic disintegrator and a 0-point entangler and see if they blend. This is a 0-range damage system. Damage to the first instance of contact after activation. Damage is based on the amount of your ship's momentum. After discharge, your ship will have 0 velocity. All that kinetic energy will be transferred in pure damage. Micro warp drives and afterburners will amplify the effect. Scripts on the module can be used to shift damage types. The damage will bypass the shields entirely and will deal damage directly to the armor or eventually the hull. The weapon can strike in any direction, but all of its damage goes to the object that comes into contact after activation, friend or foe. Hofud cannot be activated in Empire space, much like a bomb. Assault frigate bonuses, basically bonus to main weapon damage and recovery, frig bonus towards support of prop mod cap use, roll bonuses, 90% reduction of micro warp drive power grid requirement, 50% reduction in micro warp drive CPU requirement. Yes, you can fit large MWDs on a frigate, but be warned, one of the most significant drawbacks to this ship is its lack of agility. This thing will turn with all the grace of a supertanker. Start turning now and go and make coffee.
So there you have the Heimdall. At this time, we haven't got our ship statistics ironed out, as this is so very new. At this time, we don't even have a concept art, but I can imagine what is going through your heads about the possibilities for this ship and the river. So, we have a few minutes for questions, and I am sure many of you wish to talk about the radical game design flow we used for the river. Okay? Okay, you first. Okay, a technical question, not about design, but okay.
The question was, will this ship damage armor and hull on a structure? Yes. Anything that contacts the ship after activation will feel it. Okay, during shield timers for structures, the way the gameplay exists is that only the shield can be targeted during the shield timer. You cannot short circuit the timer sequence, so damage will not apply at all.
Okay, so next question. Design, yes? Okay.
Right, please repeat. Please. Right. Booshing the Heimdall. Okay, perfectly fine to boosh as it maintains the speed of the ship, yeah? And just changes its position. So no effect, no speed increase by booshing. Although you'll need to be quite careful while booshing that no one touches the Heimdall, otherwise, poof.
Okay, last question, hopefully about design. Scylla?
When a fleet starts to land, ships are invulnerable. When the warp bubble pops, you will be back to real space. Your velocity will be low as the prop mod will not yet be in play. Warping onto a fleet will not give you warp speed momentum.
Okay, thanks to all of you for listening to us. I am sure many of you were trying to get up to ask design flow questions, but you'll need to wait for the dev blog to come out, and then you can put your questions in there. On behalf of CCP Scylla and myself, CCP Sorp, I would very much like to wish you all the best in Galway, New York, and hope the rain stays away.